I spent 48 hours at the MCS 25 playoffs with the best Madden players in the world, studying the secret techniques and strategies they use to win over $2 million in prize money. But I didn't stop there. I got exclusive access to the Players Lounge where they prep for their biggest games, learning insider tactics straight from the pros. I even flew all the way from Canada to Orlando, arriving at Full Sail University just to bring you these game-changing insights. And now I'm sharing everything I learned so you can start playing like a pro. Before I jump right into it, while I was at the event, they gave me a code for a free copy of College Football 25, as well as a 95 overall Madden Ultimate Team Diamonds player. And I'll be giving it away to 2 random commenters who let me know down below who they got winning the Super Bowl or what they want to see in the next video. So what's the first thing I noticed? Almost every single pro was running the normal Y-off close formation. And I'm going to show you why this form is so dangerous. The nastiest play out of it was definitely the jet touch pass. Players even tried run committing to stop it, but if they got caught by the fake jet Y wheel play, they gave up a 1-play touchdown. The other reason pros love this formation is because of the play PA snag. This is because it has 2 great stock routes in both the snag hitch route and the short post route, where most players will put a drag on the tight end, a flat on the halfback, and a streak on the slot for great spacing for beating meta defenses. The play also directly counters the loop blitz meta from plays like cross 3 fire. If you run a non-PA based play, the loop will come in completely clean. But PA snag is a PA, or a play action based play, which will cause the looping linebacker to run straight into the line and be blocked. The other play that pros love in normal Y-off close or doubles flex Y-off close is Y sail. Now this play is arguably the best play in the game for a few reasons. The first is that it's an insane quick hype play where before the snap you simply drag your slot receiver and stem down your tight end corner and it's already set up. And the tight end is almost always open. The reason for this is that the special fade route will pull back any deep zone, allowing the deep TE corner to be thrown on any defense. Even the commentators caught on to it in the first game of the event.
That built-in fade route really does a good job bringing those deep zones back, allowing that corner route to get wide open on the sidelines.
It is also switch stick resistant, as if your opponent switches up to go cover the corner, you'll have both the drag or halfback flat wide open. The other popular setup pros use is insane, where they would streak their tight end and drag their slot receiver. This often opens up a window to throw your tight end in the seams. And if they don't have a deep zone on the tight end side outside corner, you are able to throw the deep fade for a huge gain. The other play that I noticed quite a lot in normal Y-off and doubles flex Y-off close was motion angle Y wheel, where players would streak their halfback, drag or smoke screen their outside receiver, and put a corner or a deep out on their slot receiver. Most players look at the tight end side of the field first, making the read between the wheel route and the halfback streak. Then a lot of the time, the corner or out route will be open, but I'll break down that left side concept later in the video. So as you can see, normal Y-off close is an absolute problem for defenses. But how did the best players in the world attempt to shut these offenses down? Well, one of the biggest weaknesses of almost every defense in Madden 25 is the seams. Even Nick Mazesco, the voice of Madden, caught onto how easy throwing seams was.
If you want to elevate your offensive game, you got to get used to throwing some of these quick seams. This is what the offense is right now.
The way pros adapted to this weakness was always having the safeties brought down into the box. If they were running the dime 1-4 or dime 3-2 formation, then they would first set their auto flip off and alignment to base, then call the play double safety go, and you would see the safeties come right down into the box. From there, they'd audible into their actual defense, keeping their safeties in the box while disguising their coverage. And if they were in any other formation, they would run the same coaching adjustments, but they would simply show blitz by pressing the right bumper. Both of these techniques make the seams much harder to throw. And to make the alignment even better, almost every pro ran the ability mid-zone KO on their safeties. So when the safeties got close to receiver, they would always knock it out. If you're enjoying the video so far and you want to play like a pro in Madden NFL 25, look no further than victoryformation.gg. With over 100 game-changing videos and game plans trusted by thousands of players, you'll have everything you need to defeat any opponent. So if you're ready to join the winning team, click the link below or scan the QR code and start transforming your game today. Since we're still on the topic of defense, let's go over the wide variety of defenses we saw from the pros in the MCS 25 playoffs. The most common defense by far was the dime 1-4 or dime 3-2 engage blitz, where players would engage with one of the guards, which creates a hole for the linebacker behind them to run through clean. And most pros paired this with the heavy box alignment we talked about earlier. To set this up exactly like them, blitz all your linebackers, grab the one you're going to user, and place him in front of the guard on the opposite side. I also recommend zoning out your defensive tackle and your user. Then when the ball is snapped, engage with the guard and the linebacker behind you will come in clean. The next most common was a cross blitz defense, which was also best out of dime 1-4. To run this defense, pros would use the exact same coaching adjustments, but would additionally ensure they had the play cross 3 fire in their audibles, then call double safety go and audible to cross 3 fire. These pros would further set this play up by putting quarters on both safeties, shading underneath, and zoning out their user. And since they're the best of the best, they would disguise it just like an engage blitz by spreading their line and placing their user in the same spot as if he was engage blitzing. And what occurs is the looping player will come in free through the right side B gap. Now both Abram and David T came up with their own different flair when it came to defense. They both ran the 3-3 odd formation and screamed at their opponents. To run it just like them, you need to set auto flip to off and alignment to base. Then call any play in the 3-3 odd formation and show blitz. Then shift your defensive line to the left, crash to the left, and hover very close to the guard. And on the snap of the ball, you're going to engage with the guard, which allows your defensive tackle to loop around and sack the quarterback. It is also important to mention that your defensive tackle must be as fast as possible for this to work effectively. The next defense was exclusive to pro player No Mercy Lambo, where he would run nickel over and shift his defensive line in one direction, crash in that direction, and engage with the guard just like David T did in 3-3 odd. And one of the defensive tackles would loop around and often get an easy sack or force a quick throwaway. Let's get back to offense, where I'm going to break down the most common route concepts these pros use to beat the meta defense. The meta defense being a heavy box alignment with a cover 4 drop shaded underneath shell with one player blitzing and an aggressive switch stick. The most common route concept that I saw that beats this was the zig flat or zig out concept we've talked about on the channel a lot, where a player would put a zig on an interior or slot receiver and an out route or flat on a receiver outside of it. This works particularly well against the meta because the flat will pull any flat zones away from the zig, making it 100% the user's responsibility. And if the user isn't there, it's an easy dot for 5 to 15 yards. And really, no matter the player or the formation, they were spamming this route combo. But the zig flat wasn't the only way pros attack this defense. Another go-to concept I saw was the spamming of the speed out route. As long as you had a receiver lined up on the outside, players would use this concept to steal an easy 10 to 15 yards against the meta defense. And all they would do was simply put a speed out on this outside receiver and stem them up 2 times, which was often the perfect depth. And as soon as they made their cut through this route above and outside of the hard flat and beneath any deep zones. But there was another go-to concept that pros were using that made reading the sidelines even easier. For this route combo, players put a short corner or 10-yard out route inside of a drag route, which created an easy 2-read progression against the meta. But what makes this particularly effective is that the drag pulls any flat zones inside, opening up the corner or out route for an easy read near the sideline. But pros didn't just attack the sideline. They also attacked the field with return routes from outside receivers in compressed sets, specifically in the play motion slot choice in tight Y off. In general, they would create a high-low with the drag and the post route where the return route was right behind it. The first read is between the drag and the post, and if the user is there, that's when they would throw the return route. Another go-to concept that pros relied on all tournament long was the streak corner flat. The setup for this is simple. You must first have 3 receivers on the wide side of the field with one on a corner, one on a flat or an out route, and one on a streak. And ideally, the corner is coming from the innermost or middle receiver. What makes this so effective is how it manipulates the defense. The streak pulls any deep zones back, while the flat pulls the flat defenders outside, creating a perfect throwing window for the corner route on its break. And if that's being covered, you can likely hit the streak route in the seam or a flat as a check down option. No matter the formation, pros were spamming this concept the entire tournament. The last thing I learned was I absolutely needed to run the ability Master Tactician, as this ability gives your quarterback Hot Route Master for extra hot routes, Conductor for faster hot routes, and Playmaker on every receiver. Essentially 3 abilities in one. And pro player John Beast actually used this ability 3 straight times to get points under 30 seconds versus Abram. So there you have it. 48 hours of being with the best pros in the world, breaking down the exact strategies, formations, blitzes, and route concepts that help them earn over $2 million altogether. And if you're interested in learning a fully organized scheme from 2 pros right now that you can implement immediately, I highly recommend you check out the videos on screen.